Alright, so folks have been asking for a review on this 9,000 watt Harbor Freight special generator, and I'll tell you guys, it's been great. I'm really not going to say too much about this thing. I'll just let it speak for itself here in a minute, but I'll tell you, I bought this thing about 2 years ago, a little bit under, probably about 22 months ago, and I had a coupon for it, which is rare because, as you know, they don't run coupons on, power equipment very often like this. Usually generators are one of the things that they exclude, but they did run one then, and with the coupon it cost me $700 something if memory serves approximately, and today I think they're like $900 or something on the website. So anyway, yeah, it's been flawless. I haven't had a single issue with it. I did decide to go out of my way to try to give it the best maintenance possible. I gave it 2 rounds of break-in oil. I installed that little drain valve that you see there to make oil changes even easier, and wired it up to a battery. That may or may not work because the battery, I bought that about the same time as the generator, and I think it's dying. It's one of those little lawnmower batteries. It's hard to get one of those that lasts more than, a couple years. So anyway, yeah, I really like this thing. They use this weird plug for the 240. I don't know why. You have to buy an adapter for that. I wish they'd give it just the usual 3-prong like what you have in your garage or whatever. But yeah, it's been really good. I use this thing to run my plasma cutter. It's a 45 amp plasma cutter. This will run it at about 40 amps or 42 amps maybe. And I use it to run some inverter welding machines. You got to be careful with that because not all inverters are rated for generator use, since this is not a clean power generator. It's just an old school conventional one. But mine are rated to run off of these things, so it's really nice because it's a low cost, high reliability solution. And yeah, so I've been very, very happy with this thing. I've not had a single issue with it whatsoever. It does drink some gas, but honestly not much. Single cylinder Honda clone motor, 420cc. A couple things about that: it is very fuel efficient for the amount of work that it does. I really like the Honda style engines. I don't know why, just something about the way they design them. They're the only ones in my experience, with very, very few exceptions, that actually work right and are actually reliable. So yeah, very happy with that. And the other thing is, I've heard from a lot of small engine guys that the larger clone motors, like this one being a 420, they're built to a much higher level of quality than the smaller clone motors, which themselves are pretty good. So there was some confusion as to whether or not these things have a fuel filter. So you can see I just gave it that little inline one there. There may or may not be one in the bottom of the tank, depending on who you ask. But yeah, I did that, changed the oil a couple times. It's been flawless. I haven't had any issues with it. Yeah, so yeah, might as well crank it up here. Real easy. You got the choke. Over here, I'll just move that lever that away and hope there's some life left in the battery today. Yeah! Just like that, it's going. That's the first start all day. Probably about 50 degrees out here or so right now. Works great. What's not to love? So there you have it, lads. Almost 2 years. Starts on the first pull. If you don't use the electric start, 0 issues. I love this thing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more.